Sometimes the funniest moments in football come from the most unexpected blunders. Own goals are always a nightmare for players, though for spectators, they're always good for some laughter. From cheeky back passes that deceive an unsuspecting goalkeeper to horrible attempts at a punch that ends up being a perfect goal, these clips reveal that even professional soccer players are not immune to enjoyable moments of chaos on the pitch. Sit back and enjoy as players undergo all forms of embarrassment, including awkward bounces, failure in communication, and sometimes just plain misfortune. It is a lesson that in football, people are never quite sure what to expect next. Let's take a look at the top 10 funniest own goals in football history, where players and goalkeepers alike turned unintentional errors into unforgettable laughs. If you've made it here, subscribe to Goat Blunder for entertaining football content. Like the video and comment on your favorite goal. 1. Djimi Traore's Cruyff turn disaster. Djimi Traore, a defender for Liverpool, became etched in fans' memories after he foolishly scored an own goal in an FA Cup match against Burnley in 2005. What could have been another Cruyff turn during a penalty area play went wrong. With a scuff of his foot, Traore saw the ball bounced off his shoe and enter Liverpool's net. He was left stunned and ashamed to see Burnley fans enjoying his expensive mistake for the match. This pathetic own goal proved this theory, and yes, even the most cautious defender can slip and hence his balance while at it. It was one of the most sensational examples of comedy, sheer accidental, and one has to commend Traore for not knowing that he had other options for clearing the ball than heading it. Instead of becoming a showman, he did what has now become a famous football blooper, which is replayed repeatedly. 2. Festus Bais's acrobatic own goal. In 2011, Hong Kong footballer Festus Bais gave fans a jaw-dropping moment as he scored his own goal acrobatically. To make a cross, this time with an unnatural scissor kick, Bais hit the ball with his foot as if he was targeting it. Unfortunately, when he kicked it, he directed it over his goalkeeper, soaring smoothly into the back of his own goal. It would have been a goal of the match in any other circumstances, but it was an own goal. Tapping the ball with such accuracy and style, Bais's own goal must go down in history as one of the most beautiful and funniest goals of all time. Bais shocked fans and teammates in that game, making him an overnight web celebrity. This goal demonstrated that sometimes a blunder is more easily remembered than a well-planned drive. 3. Lee Dixon's perfect lob over David Seaman. Some of the most famous own goals have been scored by Arsenal's Lee Dixon when he attempted a back pass to his goalkeeper, but the ball started spinning. He scored an own goal embarrassingly. To place the ball back into the hands of his goalkeeper, David Seaman, Dixon lofted it to score a goal, or assist the goalkeeper, only to have it sail right over Seaman's head and into the back of the net. The comical look of Dixon when he followed a misplaced pass he had given into a perfect lob was worth capturing on camera. Fans could not avoid giggling at the rare sight of such a seasoned defender making a mistake. This goal was illustrated in a simple everyday play, where things could turn ugly when one gets it wrong, particularly when the game was as simple as a goal-kicking exercise where lives were at stake. 4. Jamie Pollock's dribble and finish, Manchester City. Jamie Pollock's own goal for Manchester City against QPR in 1998 was nothing short of spectacular. Trying to clear a dangerous ball, Pollock first attempted a neat header. However, to regain control, he dribbled past an opponent only to end with an awkward flick over his own goalkeeper. The goal was so skillfully executed that it could have been mistaken for intentional brilliance, if only it hadn't been directed at his own net. Pollock's mishap left fans in disbelief, with Manchester City and QPR supporters wondering if they'd witness a stroke of genius or pure calamity. The goal is now legendary for its combination of technique and unintended humor, cementing Pollock's place in football blooper history. 5. Tony Popovic's backheel against Portsmouth. Perhaps the best own goal ever comes from Australian defender Tony Popovic, who scored in Crystal Palace against Portsmouth in 2004. To prevent a cross, Popovic performed an acrobatic backheel volley, just like it was planned. He hooked the top of his own net, and as if it was deliberately rehearsed, the ball flew off his foot with just the right spin. That was a dream run that any striker would have loved to have. However, it ended with an equally unfortunate slip for Popovic. The look of surprise on his face was exactly the reaction fans felt when they witnessed the unfathomable own goal just made. Since then, this goal has been rerun countless times as one of the sexiest unfortunate incidents in football. 6. Richard Dunn's record-breaking blunder. Richard Dunn holds the unfortunate record for most own goals in Premier League history, and his infamous mishap against Newcastle in 2009 epitomizes his bad luck. In a scramble to clear the ball, Dunn ended up slotting it perfectly past his own goalkeeper, leaving fans exasperated. This particular goal highlighted Dunn's tendency to find himself in the wrong place at the wrong time. His reaction, hands on his head in disbelief, sums up the frustration of scoring against your team. The goal quickly became one of his most memorable, cementing his legacy as a player with both defensive skill and a curious knack for spectacular own goals. 7. Andres Escobar's unfortunate World Cup own goal. In the World Cup tournament in 1994, Colombian defender Andres Escobar scored an own goal during the match against the United States that would determine which team would proceed to the second round. His effort of trying to stop the ball with his leg was fatal, as it led to his own goal that would lead to the elimination of Colombia and the young man's death. In Escobar's case, his own goal is not a laughing matter. For that reason, it has become one of the most recalling of own goals in football history, a sheer example of how much pressure international football players are under. His story is an important lesson. Football is human, and sometimes our decisions have ripple effects of the worst kind. 8. Gary Neville's frustrating mix-up. One of the most memorable moments Gary Neville blushed was when he unintentionally passed the ball into his own net while playing for England in a match against Croatia. Having kicked the clearance to goalkeeper Paul Robinson, Neville observed the ball roll dreadfully beyond Robinson's foot into the goalpost. The outcome was not planned. Still, it was a disastrous miscommunication and misfortune, with fans shaking their heads in disbelief. This moment is the best example of how even experienced football players can stumble across mere misfortune, as Neville scored an own goal due to an accidental bounce. Since then, the blooper has become a favorite with football fans, especially if the introduction is made in light of the fact that it illustrates how a mere slip can alter a game. 9. Chris Brass's face punt blunder. Playing for Bury in 2006, Chris Brass attempted to clear a high ball in his penalty area, but things went wrong. As he went to kick the ball, it passed off his face and looped into the net in a bizarre twist of fate. To add insult to injury, the impact of the ball left Brass with a broken nose, making it a double whammy of humiliation and physical pain. This own goal was so spectacularly unlucky that it became a cult classic. The combination of the painful deflection and the comic timing turned Brass's mishap into a moment of slapstick brilliance. 10. Jonathan Woodgate's nightmarish debut. Jonathan Woodgate's Real Madrid debut in 2005 was marked by one of the most disastrous performances in the club's history. After being sidelined for over a year due to injury, Woodgate returned to action, only to score an own goal in the first half. Attempting to block a cross, he redirected the ball into his net with a perfectly placed header, giving his opponents a goal. The game only got worse for Woodgate as he was later shown a red card, making his debut a nightmare that no fan would forget. His ill-fated own goal became a symbol of his struggle and bad luck at the club, marking one of the most memorable and unfortunate debuts in football. While often unfortunate for the players involved, own goals have provided fans with some of the most hilarious and memorable moments in football history. These comedic errors remind us that even the best players can have a bad day, adding an unexpected twist to the beautiful game. Whether it's a misjudged clearance or a bizarre deflection, these own goals will continue to be a source of entertainment and laughter for football enthusiasts worldwide. Did we miss an even funnier own goal? Share your picks in the comments and tell us which moments make you laugh the most. If you enjoyed watching, hit like, subscribe, and tell us what funny moments we should feature next.